Hi guys! Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everybody. Today in this lesson, we're gonna be talking about Enlightenment period in American literature. So let's see what we're going to talk about today. Firstly, I'm going to introduce the period of Enlightenment in American literature. Then we're moving to intellectual currents. Afterwards, writers and influencers are going to be discussed in this lesson. So at the end, finally, we're going to have a simple and a fast summary and conclusion. So let's dive in. What is Enlightenment actually? Enlightenment is a European intellectual movement in 18th century which has its epicenter in France. The Enlightenment was known for its emphasis on rational thinking, which means the capacity of reason and not just thinking with emotions. Emotions do not lead to discoveries of knowledge. It is all about using your rational capacity, which really makes us unique as human beings. So, as we move to intellectual currents in the field of science and architecture and literature, there were massive changes. Let's start from science. Scientists like Franklin were famous for his work on electricity, George Eliot for his work on metallurgy and agriculture, David Rittenhouse in astronomy, math, and instruments, Benjamin Rush in medical science, Charles Wilson Pell in natural history, and finally Cadwallader Colin for his work in botany and town sanitation. These people massively contributed to the improvement of this movement. After 1780, the federal style of American architecture, now we're talking about architecture, began to diverge from the Georgian style and became a uniquely American genre. In 1813, Etheltown designed the first Gothic-style church in North America. Trinity Church on the Green in New Haven, Connecticut, dating English Gothic revival by a decade. So lastly, in the field of literature, poetry and music and drama, some nascent artistic attempts were made, particularly in pre-war Philadelphia. But American culture in these fields was largely imitative of British culture for most of the period. So now let's look at influencers, people who really helped Enlightenment period to grow and be recognized. Firstly, it is John Locke. His political theories were very much influential. He emphasizes the natural rights like life, liberty, and property. Even Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence, depended on Locke's ideas and theories. Also, he thought that a person's religious beliefs should not determine which job to choose. It's like your religion should not decide where you can work, in the government work, in an office work, or in any kind of work that you want. It shouldn't restrict you from your hobby or your beloved work. Also, the next one is Thomas Jefferson. He was a politician, philosopher, and best known for writing the Declaration of Independence, if you remember. The quote, all men are equal, is written in this declaration, and let's analyze what this quote really means. As we know from the past, people who were really wealthy could get out of any kind of situation by the help of their money, and the quote, all men are equal, addresses straightly this situation. He mentions that we are all equal under the law without any exceptions because of someone's property, wealth, or status. The next influencer is Benjamin Franklin. We all know him because of the dollar bill. Also, he was a politician, inventor, and entrepreneur. But mostly he was famous for his scientific inventions. He invented the lightning rod, which protects buildings from being struck by lightning. He was a man of science. He was also credited for creating bifocals before other people would even think of it. So you may think, what bifocals are? Well, if I explain, in the past, people used one type of glass for seeing and binacles, another type of glass for reading. So Benjamin Franklin just combined these two types of glass and invented one thing which was called bifocals, and it really made people's lives easier. In the next slide, you can see people, influencers, face to face displaying their pictures. John Locke, as I told, he was a politician. Isaac Newton. We have here Isaac Newton why? Because he was also the most influential person of Enlightenment period. Isaac Newton believed that the universe is governed by a natural law. Thomas Jefferson is the writer of Declaration of Independence, and Benjamin Franklin, he is a man of science. So, let's conclude what we had in our lesson. Enlightenment was a period of intellectual exchange in Europe in the 18th century. It began in the 18th century. Several factors contributed to Enlightenment movement, and the main feature of Enlightenment is using your knowledge instead of your feelings. Every writer, every influencer carried out this topic in their literary works. They advised, they urged, they insisted on using your knowledge, your brain instead of your feelings. So this was all about Enlightenment, and thank you for your attention.